How's everybody doing out there in paradise tonight? Hope you're all being safe. Yeah, I finally got back. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Bob. As you know, I've had some phone issues, so tonight's format will be a little bit different until I get a new phone. Also, we're going to do things a little different because you know I don't normally do interviews. However, there's this guy that y'all just have to hear what he's doing, you know? And I want to promote his channel the best I can, so let's meet Chad. Chad, how about introducing yourself to the listeners?
All right. My name's Chad Marks. I spent 18 years of my life in federal prison. At the age of 24, I was sentenced to a 40-year federal mandatory minimum. I was recently released under the Compassionate Release Statute. I was sentenced for drugs and a Stack 924C. That means I was sentenced to 5 years for a gun, 25 years for a second gun, and 10 years for drugs. While in federal prison, I took myself to the law library, learned the law, and was able to help over 100 men get out of prison through either clemency or through the courts or through the BOP. I also wrote the first compassionate release motion to ever win in the country. And from that point forward, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men and women have been released from prison. That's a little bit about me, Bob.
So, with the sentence you were doing, I'm assuming that you didn't go to the FCIs and the lower places. You went to the USPs?
I started off in USP Big Sandy, and I went to a couple of different USPs over the 20 years, 18 years that I was in. Eventually made it to an FCI, and then my last 9 months was at a low federal medical center, which was the absolute worst prison I had ever been in, brother.
Why don't you explain to those that don't know the difference between USP and FCI?
Okay, USP is a maximum security federal prison. Very dangerous place, dangerous men. You know, people in there have nothing to lose, so there was a lot of violence over there, Bob. Eventually, I would go to an FCI, which is a medium security. There was still some violence, still some danger, but, not on the scale of, people getting murdered every day or, people getting stabbed every day. And then I ended up going to a federal medical center, which was a low, and not a good place, man. Pretty dirty, a lot of disrespectful people. Just the worst place I had ever been.
Right. Did you say you worked in the law library while you were in there?
Worked in the law library for over 15 years as a law clerk over there, commonly referred to as a jailhouse lawyer. And like I said earlier, I was able to learn the law, help myself out, and help hundreds of other men get out of prison through the law library.
Wow, that's great. When did you feel like you wanted to help kids that were headed down the wrong path?
Well, what I did, Bob, I started teaching a class called Leaders Breed Leaders in prison, right? One of my buddies had put a program together. He asked me to facilitate that. I also facilitated the Alternative Violence Project seminar over there. And there was a bunch of young kids, man, coming into federal prison, believe it or not. I seen guys as young as 17 years old in there. And most of the guys that would come to my Alternative Violence Project seminar classes or my Leaders Breed Leaders were recommended by their unit team, and it was mostly young dudes, man. And you got to, know these guys and learn some of their stories and find out, that honestly, man, they became a product of their environment. So I started putting incarceration prevention classes together because I had always planned that I would somehow get out of prison. And thank God I did get out. And I wanted to be the voice for the voiceless, for those that are left behind. But I also wanted to help kids, stay away from going to prison, save them from life imprisonment and premature death. And I figured we can do that because I was doing it through Leaders Breed Leaders and the Alternative Violence Project seminar. And I wanted to get out here to the street and start doing that. And I seen some of these guys with this YouTube channel stuff, and I was like, this is a good platform to get the message out and maybe open the doors for me to get into schools and do things like that.
Yeah, speaking of school, well, first of all, for that, you said you saw some kids as young as 17 in federal prison?
Kids as young as 17 years old in federal prison, man. You'd be surprised that the feds will arrest, a kid with a gun, right? That's an automatic 5 years if he has drugs on him. So they give him the automatic 5 years at 17 years old for the gun, and then they probably get 2 or 3 years for the drugs.
Wow, I'm surprised. 17-year-olds to prison. I've been in prison since I was 14, but, this is on state cases. So that's very surprising to me.
Oh man, they don't. The federal government don't care, Bob.
Yeah, I see. So is that the program that you put together for kids while you were inside, or you got some other program going?
Well, I got a program that I put together called STEM, Stimulate, Train, Educate, Mentor. And part of that is an incarceration prevention class where I want to take kids into morgues, man. I want them to see, the effects of their decisions. I want to take them into federal courtrooms and state courtrooms and let them see, what happens, and what kind of time they sentence people to. We want to teach them some character education, man. Help these kids get a trade. I mean, that's the focus of the program. And I'm hoping to implement it this summer. That's the goal.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Are you going into any schools or talking to kids in the schools or anything like that?
Not yet, because, the COVID-19, I had reached out to, believe it or not, the chief of police in my city, tried to talk to them, talk to the mayor. I talked briefly with, some representatives from both of those offices. And the holdup is really the COVID-19, because where I'm from, a lot of the schools, kids are not in school. They're doing, remote learning. So that's kind of what, it's kind of got it on hold, but hopefully, man, we'll be able to get it going.
Oh, okay. There's a school principal up in New York who comments on my videos oftentimes saying that he shows the kids my videos, and so if I can't remember his name, but if you're listening out there, contact Chad Marks. That would be a good place for you to go to his school.
Without a problem. I mean, if they invite me, I'm going. He can find me on Blood on the Razor Wire. He can also email me at freedomfighterspc@gmail.com. Would love to do it.
Is that all small letters?
That's all small letters. Freedom Fighters, P as in Paul, C as in Charlie, @gmail.com.
All right. Well, speaking of your YouTube channel, why don't you tell us a little bit about the YouTube channel and what your mission is?
Okay, so I put the Blood on the Razor Wire YouTube channel together. The mission, like I said earlier, was to save kids from life imprisonment and premature death through our stories and experiences. Some people had commented about why I talk about violence on that channel. But that's because the violence, Bob, sometimes brings, the kids in. They're fascinated by the story. So we want to get them there, and then we want to give them, we want to teach them through that channel.
Yeah, that's definitely why most people tune into these prison channels,
Yeah. Well, we got to get them first, man. We got to bring them in. Everybody's got a story to tell, and that's the story that interests kids, sadly. But once they get there, there's a mission and there's a goal that we're trying to accomplish, and hopefully our stories resonate, and maybe they'll change their paths.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to have you come on here, to try to get more subscribers and get the word out more. Cause I hate seeing these kids. I had a roommate one time that was 17 years old, I don't want to see them going down the same way I did, I had no clue that I could go to prison at 14, an adult facility,
Yeah.
So I'm really glad to hear you're doing what you're doing. Don't you also have a book out?
I got a book out. The title of the book is Blood on the Razor Wire. People can get that on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle. And you can order it, if you want a signed autographed copy. People can order it right through that Freedom Fighters PC @gmail.com through that email.
Okay, great. And just one more time, the YouTube channel is Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Everybody go over there and check it out. Like and hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you stopping by and talking to me tonight, Chad. They get ready to count around here, so I'm going to have to get off of here now.
Well, I appreciate you, man, and I appreciate what you're doing. And like I told you, Bob, anything I can do to help you, man, get out of there, clemency petition, any type of post-conviction motions, man, I'm here to help you, man. And I appreciate you.
All right, well, I sure appreciate that. I hope you have a good night, and everybody out there,